what I was going to say, one of the things that I think really buggers up business people, not just podiatry, same podiatry, but the health industry and other businesses, is they're so tight. I mean, they're tight. They don't want to part with any money to make money. They don't have
any money. They're not running. Of
course, they're tight.
This is the whole thing. Of course, they're tight. They're not tight. They don't have any dough, and they.
But that's why they don't have any dough, because they're tight.
This is the Justin Blake podcast experience for health professionals that mean business. So wherever you are in the world, listen as we discuss everything you need for you and your health business to survive and thrive. Thanks for listening.
Now we're live on Facebook again. So back to us again. Tyson Franklin, Cairns in Northern Australia. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Tyson, tell me all about your fiddling with feet and the weird questions patients ask you.
Probably, people do ask. I rarely did I get to people would not ask, "Do you have a foot fetish?" They would normally just say, "Oh, you must have a foot fetish," and you sort of go, "Well, no, it's not like a proctologist has an anus fetish, or a dentist has a tooth fetish." So I find it funny, but I think it's because feet fetishes and latex seem to go together, so people just think it's a quirky thing, and I think it's sometimes when people say it, they think it's the first time you've heard it, and they actually think it's funny. And they don't realize.
Well, I mean, that's like a lot. That's like a lot of questions that we get asked in our day-to-day job. Is have you never been? I don't know. I think there's a meeting down the back of the local Women's Institute Community Centre where they all get together and decide to ask the podiatrist the same questions. Does it have a root? Is normally a one question, and others.
It's one of those things that I think most people would normally just say, like, why would you want to look at feet? That's probably the biggest question you get. Why would you want to look at feet? And I always say that I wanted to do a job where no one ever died and everything could wait till tomorrow. Okay. So podiatry just seemed to be the most logical profession. And my brother was doing dentistry. So, I just thought, well, I don't want to do that. It just doesn't seem right. Looking at people's mouths all day. And I've never been bitten by a foot. So I think it's a safe profession, but I have been kicked.
I've been kicked, yes. Psychogeriatric.
Yeah.
First year.
Yes, I actually... I dislocated my shoulder playing. Yeah, I dislocated my shoulder playing football, and it sort of wasn't quite healed up. And I was sitting there in this nursing home, and this lady's pulled the football gun, bang, and hit me right in the shoulder. Just dropped me. It was very painful.
Really?
That
was good.
Yeah. If you're allowed to strangle people,
I always tell them I look at feet all day.
Yeah.
I tell them when they ask me why do you look at feet all day, I tell them in it for the glamour and the money. So there's already none of both, but we'll get on to how you get more money in your practice later.
Yes.
And it's an interesting history in terms of footwear and feet and fetishism and sex and right the way through from through the centuries, and from Chinese foot binding. The advent of the court shoe. We're going to be, Cameron Kippen in Perth.
Yeah.
So Cameron's very much all about the history of footwear and things. We're going to be talking to Cameron next week, so that'll be something.
Oh, right, okay.
To look forward to.
It is a very interesting. Even when you just look at athletic shoes, and you think back to like the 70s when people remember the shoe Adidas Rome, and it was like you wouldn't wear it now just walking around the street because they'd be too uncomfortable. But people were running marathons with these things on. So it's amazing. And that's the part that I find really, really interesting with footwear, with all the technology and all the billions of dollars that have been spent on footwear research. It's not as though injuries have disappeared. So There's something with all these.
Perhaps it's the body. As we talked with Mr. Ward on Monday, maybe it's got something to do with the way the body works, nothing to do with what the foot is. And he had quite a good point. You know, a lot of the additions or the little tweaky bits that are added to shoes, the widgets, are normally to try and help to correct some or help with some biomechanical, musculoskeletal issue. Let's get the body working first, perhaps. Would be a good idea.
Yeah, well, but it's no different. If somebody is overweight and they're trying to exercise, yes, a shoe that's probably got a little bit more cushioning is going to be better. But with all these things, you know, do you go for air? Do you go for gel? Do you go for the energy return system? And there's all these different bits and pieces that go into it. I mean, you know what they're all trying to do? They're all just trying to freaking cushion the foot.
A triathlon patient of mine, you know, got me one lunchtime. I was like, I've got these new, can't remember what they were with the little springs inside them, you know, the energy return stuff.
Oh, yeah, the energy return system. Yeah, I'm changing glasses.
It was like, you know, he's an intelligent guy. But when you explained it to him, mate, you know, by the time your body hits the ground and compresses that, and your foot's off the ground like that, I mean, for the energy recoil return, just have a think about it. It's a little bit of squishy plastic. And it was like another triathlon friend said one day he knew he was standing on the start line, and you know those finned suits that help you swim quicker?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He said he realized he was on the start line. He had the fin suit under his wetsuit. So he's wondering how it was going to
Yeah, I wonder how that worked.
So people buy all this technology stuff. Yeah, it wouldn't have worked very well. But I've been lucky enough. One of my practices in South London was quite close to quite a notorious South London brothel. Owned by Cynthia Payne, if you've ever heard of her. I'm not a frequenter of brothels. There was a scandal in the 70s and 80s in London. She was arrested as the madam of the brothel. Some MPs involved. So we used to see some of the girls would be coming in, and it was quite, you know, when you have to delay treatment because, oh no, that might be a bit sore after, and I've got a session later on this afternoon where I've got to wear my really tight leather or PVC boots. Let's do it tomorrow. Okay, yeah, that sort of conversation was quite interesting.
No, you've lived a different life to me.
They dealt with quite a lot of picadillos. Lovely girls. But yeah, Cynthia was a bit of So I mean, that was it. It takes all sorts, doesn't it?
Oh, it does.
Takes all sorts. And
so that's why you've had your practices in more interesting areas than me.
Well, yeah, that was one interesting area. Yeah, that was South London. My friend Gavin, hello Gavin, in the Elaine practice in Streatham, is still there fighting a good fight, and it was an interesting part of that. Yeah, it was great. But as I said to somebody the other day, they were surprised when I told them that, you know, well, I hadn't a clue how to run that practice. I had no idea. She said, well, you're talking about all this stuff now. And it's like, well, I ran practices really, really poorly, like really poorly, for about 15 years. You know, hadn't a clue what I was doing.
Oh, I was the same. When I first started, and the rules were different too. Like when I first started podiatry, everyone, your number one advertising thing was you needed to be in the yellow pages. If you weren't in the yellow pages, your business didn't exist. And the yellow pages people were assholes. That was the easiest way to describe them. They would charge you a huge amount of money. They would treat you like dirt. If they'd have a cutoff time. If you didn't get that cutoff time, stiff.
Yeah.
We'll see you next year. Yeah. The reps were rude. And the reps were rude to you. And they would they'd say, well, I'm coming to see you at 4:00. And you go, oh, that doesn't work for me. Oh, well, you won't be in the book then. So when I first started, that was it. And then we had rules on our signage. The letters had to be a certain height. Couldn't go any. The letters on your sign couldn't be any more. I think at the time was like 12 centimeters. That's all. You could have the sign podiatrist, but it couldn't be any bigger than 12 centimeters. And I remember putting my first sign up and it was 20 centimeters. And I knew it was against the rules. So I did it anyway. Then I got in trouble from the registration board. So this is my first year out. Trouble from the registration board. They called me in and I went, oh, okay. So before I went, I found out who are all the podiatrists that are on the registration board. So I found out all the names of all the podiatrists. I then got in my car and I drove around to every one of their practices and I measured their signs. And every single one of them was breaking the rules.
Breaking the code.
So, yeah. And I went, oh, okay. So I went in there all armed with my ammunition and they said, what do you got to say? I said, well, I'm just following my peers. I said, here, all you guys are on the board and you're all breaking the rules. And here's a list of about another 30 podiatrists that are all breaking the rules. So I think this whole 12 centimeter thing is rubbish. And the rule got changed not long after that. They sort of dumped it that signage could be whatever you wanted because I thought, I'm not changing mine until you guys. Feet high. Oh, yeah. But it was a silly rule. And as the profession's gone on, rules have changed. I remember when I used to advertise on TV in Cairns. And back then, the rules were you were not allowed to advertise on TV, just not allowed to do it. Silly rule. So I found a loophole in the rules and I did it anyway. And then the rules ended up changing down the track. So how we started our podiatry clinic, like I started back in 88. So
but
89.
The rules of advertising in Australia are a lot more restrictive than they would be here in South Africa or in the States. I think the States, again, has different rules for different parts of the States.
Yeah.
But you've got to be quite careful how you word things, and you can't use patient testimonials and things.
No, can't use testimonials, which, like, I'm not a believer of testimonial. When I see a testimonial, even though, like, on my website, and if someone does a testimonial, like if someone does a testimonial for me because they've been to one of my workshops, they're 100% true. I'm just telling you that. But the only thing against testimony is why, even though I use them for my marketing stuff, but I don't put a lot of value in it, unless it's maybe a video one, is because no one's going to print an average testimonial. They're only going to show you the good ones. So I actually believe online reviews are a more accurate representation of what your business is doing. Google reviews are just...
Google My Business, those sort of things. Yeah,
they're the sort of things.
Essential. Okay, we went on about this about 10 weeks ago. We're telling everybody, don't mark your practice closed when you were closed, because that mucks up your whole SEO and all that sort of thing, and you drop further down the ranking. So I was giving advice to people: keep your open. Because it mucked up all the analytics. But yeah, those Google reviews are a fantastic thing to have incorporated into, because that's how majority of people are finding you online now, and the Google reviews or your Google business place will come up. And again, as I've talked and we've talked before, people check you out on multiple areas first before they come to visit.
Oh, definitely, that's a thing that people don't get. That while, like, it's nighttime here in Australia at the moment. It's Friday night, and I don't have a drink in my hand. Woohoo! That's even stranger.
Yeah,
I know. I could have actually just grabbed a beer and brought it in while we started, but I didn't. I thought, no, let's be clear-headed for this. Where I was going with that, though, is there's podiatrists sitting at home now, glass of wine, might be getting ready for the football, and they don't realise that there's people right now who are stalking them. They're looking at their Facebook pages. They're looking at their website. They might have gone to their Instagram page and gone, oh, they've got an Instagram thing here. And they're putting all these pieces together. And what you got to do is, if someone was looking at your website, and geez, there's some shitty podiatry websites in the world. Every now and then I look at people's websites all the time.
They're 95% of them look exactly the same. There's nothing to differentiate your website from somebody else's. But
it's
all about the qualifications. They're biomechanical. I think it goes in the corner. It's awful.
But some of them you look and you go, they were done 10 years ago. Yeah, they haven't updated anything. There's no new. Only
your
time.
website's not mobile friendly. If it's not mobile enabled. 60-70% of people are on phone. In city centres, it's like 100%. In London or wherever, everybody's just based in. It's got to be mobile adaptive.
But that's the thing is,
as you said, it's got to link.
But people got to realise
it's got to have
now.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say that, but what's happening is people got to realise, well, you're sitting at home at night, there's people looking at your website, looking at your Facebook pages. If there's some way that, and all of a sudden something interests them, then they're going to start saying, oh, are you on Instagram? Are you got any YouTubers? And they're making all these assumptions about your business. So you've got to make sure, and I'm really big about making sure your brand is consistent with everything you do. Yeah. So as an example, I always say to people, if you have a look at nearly anything that I've put together, I use the same color code and color combination. It's this color called Barcelona Red. It's on the Podiatry Legends podcast logo, the 365-hour challenge when I did it. It's on the cover of my books. When I do my podiatry marketing, on my website, I use that same color. So if you go to my Instagram page, you'll always see that consistent color actually coming through my Instagram page with the different things. Yeah. Whereas I've gone to some people's websites and it's lime green. Okay. But then I go to their Facebook page and there's no color that says anything that's even similar. Or you go to different pages on the website and they've got different logos on different pages. And then you'll see the business card. Yeah. And it's got, oh, this is the old logo. We couldn't be bothered getting rid of the 500 cards we had sitting in the drawer. I'm thinking, you tight ass, throw your 500 cards out and get bloody new cards.
Yeah.
And they don't realise, and this I did a little video on this the other day, and it said, if it's not strengthening your brand, it's weakening your brand. So there is no neutral. So it doesn't matter what you produce. If you're giving it to somebody, where it's a patient, and you used to have coloured brochures that you always gave out to your patients, and also you go, oh, we've run out. Oh, let's just do some photocopies. No. Go and get new brochures done. Get more printed properly.
Yeah. Just a shout out to my friend Charlie here, who's watching in Sydney. Hi, Charlie. Charlie's already started on the wine. I know. It's definitely wine time for Charlie.
I know. I keep trying to see if I'm trying to find us on Facebook so I can actually watch what's going on, but I can't find it.
Okay, we're Justin Blake, podiatrist, perhaps, maybe it'll come up. But yeah, as you say, sort of essential
here we go.
things on websites.
Here we go. I found it.
For when you're sleeping and the patient is looking for you at 2 or 3 in the morning, or a book online now button. Yeah. Or because now you just triage them the next day. Hi, Tyson. So you contacted us at 2:30 in the morning. You must have a sore foot. What
are you doing? You lunatic.
Then you also have a free foot pain guide. So rather than, because a lot of 2 in the morning they can't phone you now or use your chat bot, but they can take your free information about how they can help themselves. And again, that's another really good way of differentiating your website from lots of others. Give away free stuff.
Oh, if I could grab something. If you give me, I should remember. I had this like free book thing that we had done up, and we put it on our Facebook, on our website. People come to the website and go, hey, you can order this free book, 26 pages, and we'll post you a hard copy. So they had to give us their name, address, and email details. Mm-hmm. Yeah. In the first 6 months, we gave out 500. We posted 500 of these things out. When we did a big promotion behind it as well, we worked out it costs us about $5 per book to post out. So it costs us about $2,500 to do this campaign over 6 months.
Yeah.
Our return on that, because we kept track of everybody that it went to, and then as people coming as patients, we had a look at it. We made $90,000 in the first 6 months.
Bingo. Yeah.
And And you sort of just went, wow, well, that's an idea we'll keep doing.
We'll keep
now,
doing
I
that.
sold the business and they decided not to keep doing it, but yeah, that's a different story altogether. But it just goes to prove there's people out there. So what we worked out, about 25% of the people that requested that free book ended up becoming a patient.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good number. I mean, that's a good.
So yeah, that was great. And okay, so 75% didn't. But we only traced this for like, say, for the first 6 months, and then say the next 6 months after that. What happened with those people beyond that, I'm not sure, because they didn't own the business anymore. Yeah. But it just let you know that people are going to your website after hours. They're looking for information. If you've got, and I always say is just whatever it is that you want to do. I did a workshop today, and we were talking about what do you love most about podiatry? Yeah, what do you want to do more of? What do you want to do less of? And what do you want to stop doing? Yep. And if the things that you want to do more of are not the most prominent things on your website in your business, then you're crazy. I've seen people go, oh, I don't like doing general podiatry. But then you go to their website, and the first page says, do you have corns and calluses, warts, rough heels? And I'm going, hang on, you just told me you don't like doing that, yet you're saying to them, this is what we do. So it's crazy.
It's a lot to do with that perfect ideal patient selection and again the consistent message across the board to them. Just pick your patient avatar, where they live, what they do, who you want to work with, and then just advertise and brand and send all your messages to that one person, because if she's your ideal patient, just focus on her. And then everything becomes easy. And I think a lot of people think it's a lot of hard work. I mean, a lot of times now you could probably do a little free giveaway book or a PDF book that people can email for by taking just one of the blogs that you've already written and just rejig it, take it 20 minutes, half hour, get it converted to a PDF, get your web guy to set up a little thing on it. You should take a day or two.
You know what's hard? What's hard is trying to come up with an ad.
Getting off the sofa in front of Netflix and putting down a bottle of wine. That's what's hard.
Yeah. Hey, Jose's on. Jose, how you doing? Jose's in Spain. He was on my podcast.
I'm practicing my Spanish.
Super nice guy. Hola. I know. I'm terrible. So what was I talking about? Throw me.
Nice blogs. You mentioned those blogs. I know. Blogs.
That was my fault. I buggered up there. If someone was listening, can they just type in what I was talking about before I got sidetracked? Well, we were talking about the websites, and you were talking about having the information on there that people can download, and I'm pretty sure it had something to do with that. It was very profound, but it's gone now. I'll listen back to this and go.
Or else you could post it out to them, or once you've printed out 20 or 30 of those to have the hard copy, if they don't want the PDF one, is then when you go to give a talk, you have those, from that a day of work to sort that out. Is something that you would have for years to use.
I remembered what I was going to say now.
Right. Go ahead.
Okay. When you were saying, people think it's hard to sort of find your ideal client or your ideal patient. What is hard is to try and come up with an ad or some form of marketing that is going to try and talk to everybody. That is hard work because it's impossible to do. So you'll sit there burning up all these mental calories, go, but I want to make sure I get this 25-year-old runner, but also, Mildred, who's the 60-year-old lady that plays bowls. And they're sitting there trying to rack their brain on how can I come up with the right ad that's going to talk to both these people? You can't. It's really that simple. So what happens is you then do something that's so beige that that nobody responds to it. Whereas if you go, you know what, I want to get more Margarets who are 60 that plays bowls. So talk to Margaret. Make the ad towards Margaret. Yeah. Are you playing bowls? Are you getting sore feet? Or you have bowls?
Margaret reads the newspaper and goes to the little community centre and talks with the girls in the coffee shops.
That's hard to find Margaret.
And the guy who's doing the triathlon, he lives on Instagram.
Yeah.
And and places like that. So again, it's a completely different demographic, and you can't get one to. I mean, the principles behind how you speak to them are the same, but where you target them and what you talk to them about are completely different. And again, if anybody doesn't know, you don't talk to them about biomechanics and gait analysis and, you know, X, Y, and Z muscle running this. You talk to them about getting fitter and active and more healthy and more mobile, because that's what they want.
We used to talk, if I went and did a talk to, so I used to like talking to Rotary, because a lot of Rotarians are being business people. They usually have made pretty good money. They're usually pretty flush with cash, and most are independent ritees. Plus, they're usually a lot of fun. So you used to go and talk to them, and I used to just say to them, go, if I can help, if I can get you out of pain, I can add 10 years to your life. And you'd see them all just looking and go, so if there's something that interests you, that you want to live longer, because if you're pain-free, you can exercise more, stay healthier, and you'll live longer. I said, unless you don't like your partner and you're hoping you go to an early grave, then just keep doing what you're doing. And you always get, a couple of laughs. But that is, we don't just fix feet. We give people their life back. That's what we do.
Yep. And especially now with, again, with the whole pandemic, I think it's a great opportunity to be in health professions now, because there's so many more people exercising, getting fitter, getting healthier, looking after themselves more. That's been the message over the last 2-3 months now, is we need to get fitter and healthier. This is how you're going to survive global pandemics. And
can I just
great opportunity for health professionals, because guess what? You help those type of people.
But Jose just asked me, he's waiting to see a photo of the paella that I was supposed to make, and we did make one, but I ate it. Didn't take a photo of it. So there's an excuse for it to go and make another one. So you were on his podcast as well, weren't you?
I will be. I think is it next Thursday, Jose? We're talking in Spanish. Well, I'm not talking Spanish, but
yeah, no, I didn't
slow
either.
Down.
I had to slow down.
Translation organized.
I had to slow down, but you have to slow down more.
Do I?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll enunciate properly then.
Enunciate. That'd be nice.
Yeah. So back to websites. Yeah, book online, the free ebook for those people who just don't want to book today. And yeah, this is a recurrent theme. You said those things cost $5 to post out, and it was $2,500. And somebody's like, Jesus, that's a lot of money. That's a very cheap way. People just think the patients appear in your practice in a puff of smoke. Bing, there they are. Doesn't happen. It's taken weeks or maybe even months for that patient to arrive there, and the cost of you to that is quite large.
One of the things that I think really stuffs people up. Oh, so we get a lag. I keep talking over the top here. Sorry. But what I was going to say, one of the things that I think really buggers up business people, not just podiatry, same podiatry, but the health industry and other businesses, is they're so tight. I mean, they're tight. They don't want to part with any money to make money.
They don't have any money. They're not running. Of course, they're tight. This is the whole thing. Of course, they're tight. They're not tight. They don't have any dough, and they.
But that's why they don't have any dough, because they're tight.
Put your prices up. Ethically, you need to charge more so you can invest in yourself and your practice and your family, and then that allows you to better serve your patients more. That's it. If you don't have that buffer from the lady the other day whose autoclave went wallop, if you don't have that buffer to get you through this, closed down, forced, if you don't have the buffer to go out and spend $2,000 to get, how much did you say? 90?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't have the buffer, $2,000 to get 90 back.
90,000 back, yeah.
It's no brainer. Yeah.
Well, I've said that to people.
And this is also the thing is that.
No, but it's even with, when it comes to, like, say, business coaching, and you'll say to someone, if you get a business coach, or find a friend who's been in business for a period of time, who's prepared to help you for nothing. Just listen to them. They speed up the process of getting from point A to point B. You can sit like on one of my talks, I'll mention that, everyone's heard that saying, it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert at something. It's because you stuff around for 9,000 hours until you realize you're doing it all wrong. And then the last 1,000 hours, you usually get some advice from someone and you'll work out how to do it.
I'm just doing a little drawing about this.
Yeah.
Most people think that business, I had it a while ago, is like this. It's just straight to the top. Doesn't happen like that. Looks all like this. Twists and turns, screams and shouts and ups and downs, late nights, a lot of hard work.
That's true.
That's how you have a successful practice. It just doesn't happen. I think that's why the girl was surprised the other day when I told her how shit I was at running businesses. She's like, you have to learn from your mistakes. But back to the again, just website. Back to the advertising again. This is also the thing I think which people worry about advertising is that they put the ad in, they give the free thing out, they go and give the talk, they go and do whatever, and then it's crickets. And they shit themselves and they worry and they go, that didn't work. Yeah, a lot of times it's because they don't measure, because you don't know, again, it could be 6 weeks or 6 months that patient comes to do business with you. Everybody wants the quick fix, quick thing. And of course, a lot of advertising is reactionary. The guy turns up with an ad, to put in the local running magazine or something, you'll spend that. Or, when you don't have a plan and then you put that in and you hear nothing or get 1 or 2 patients, that didn't work. But you didn't measure it and you didn't look for the long-term value to the patient. And again, they just don't appear in a puff of smoke. And as we talked earlier was that, they have to see you and meet you at lots of different places and go away and think about it and come back and maybe try somebody else and then come back. It's a whole journey that the patient goes on to try
but people can just
end up sitting.
All they're going to do is just relate it back to how they make buying decisions themselves. So we recently just bought a fire pit for our backyard, which, living in the tropics, we'll probably use 2 days a year. But it's one of those things that we spoke about it last year. We saw a few last year. And then this year we started looking at a couple. We started going online and checking them out. And then all of a sudden we saw about 4 or 5, and then we went back to the same place a couple of times. And eventually we went, that's the one that we want. And it was the one that we'd seen right at the beginning, but we had to go through, make all these other decisions first until we went, that's the one that's going to look the best in our backyard. Boom. And we did it. And to me, people don't just wake up in the morning and go, I got foot pain. Where's the first podiatrist? And they go in there. I go, I got foot pain. Ask friends.
I relate it to, the decision that you made, say, the last course you went to. You saw the course advertised, you had a look, you checked out the accommodation, whether you needed to get flights and and you looked on TripAdvisor and you think, I do. And you had to think about it, and you went back and checked the flights again, and then you had a look and you talked to your friends whether they were going and whether you get, all those sort of things. And guess what? You didn't choose the cheapest flight perhaps or the cheapest hotel. You choose what we perceived was the best value from all the options that you had. True. That's how people make their buying decision.
But it's the same when you said when it's picking, but just picking the conference itself. You will look at a conference and you'll take all those other things, accommodation, airfares, but then you'll look at the content of what's there. Who's talking and what are they talking about and what value am I going to get from it? And if you feel there's value in going, then you'll go. And that's why when people have a website and patients are going to that website and they go, I've got problem X. I'm going to this person's website, and they start reading through everything. And if they can't find the answer, like the information, you dig the information so far down, you've got up there that I've gone to people, you go to their homepage, and next thing they're saying,
Google search for foot pain.
But you go to some people's pages.
Google search for foot pain. Guess what it is? Heel pain.
Oh, hell yeah.
Why is your website if you have to go to somebody's website and search for heel pain, it should be front and center. If you're doing NSK podiatry, heel pain, that's what everybody's got. Why you don't have it on your front page? Heel pain experts, we help heel pain, 5 free trips for heel pain, heel pain, heel pain, heel pain. Like 50-60% of our business was heel pain. If somebody comes to your website, you don't come looking for analysis. Yeah, they come with heel pain, foot pain, bunion pain, can't walk, sore things. Somebody told me the other day, leg muscle cramp was the one that they came up with. But if your website doesn't talk about that, people are gone. Like 4, 5, 6 seconds. And again, if you don't think you are, you do it every day that you look up. And not you.
Well, I went to one website once. And when you went onto it, the first thing,
next website,
the first thing that was on there,
Ebook.
I don't know, there must just be the lag that's going to, but that's all right. I was saying I was on somebody's website, and you go to the website, and on the first page, all the whole first page of the website was a solo practitioner, and they were talking about how awesome they were. I was surprised there wasn't a photograph of there with smoke coming out their bum, because they were just blowing so much up their bum. It was just like, I'm going, if I was a patient, I'm like, hang on, I've come to you because I have a pain somewhere. There's something wrong. I want to know, can you fix me? I don't need to know you have 4 degrees and you went off and you did this and I'll work it out later.
This and don't need it. They don't care. They don't care either.
We're like in a real rant here, aren't we?
Don't worry. Just fix your website, for God's sake. Because it's the main way that patients come to your business. I mean, that's it. Everything runs off the website. I mean, if it's, the only job your website has to do, sorry, I'm just taking my shoes off.
So I'm just saying, Anne Stewart has asked a question here.
Sitting in your clinic. That's all.
Justin, Anne Stewart has asked a question.
Yeah.
What's on your front page then,
I don't
Justin?
know. Go and look at my old podiatry.ie website. Podiatry.ie. Go look at that's my old website from the practices that I used to have. Go and have a look. 6, 7 different ways to contact us. Video, free ebooks, pop-up chat, book online, phone today for a free chat with the podiatrist. There's another one which is inquire about immediate cost and availability. Yeah, lots of different options. That's how you write a website. And it tells it, I think the headline from Remember is, we help people 40 plus stay active and mobile, avoiding surgeries and painkillers. I think that's it. It's been 6 or 8 months since I looked at it. The video is awful. The video is terrible. I'm like reading from a thing, holding it, when I used to like one of these. That was awful.
It's funny, isn't it, when people read from when people read from a script. That's a tip. If you can do a video too, I always think it's better to, especially if you're only going to do a video, it's like 2, 3, 2 minutes long. Just read what you want to talk about, memorize it, screw it up, throw it down, and then just talk. Because I've seen people that have the script in front of them and they think that nobody can see their eyes slightly, and you can see them reading it and you go, oh, don't do that. It's like, I sort of think every podiatrist
used to be like that.
But I think every podiatrist,
I tried all sorts. Go to the pub, loosen the tongue, didn't work.
Yeah, but I think you should be able to go to any podiatrist and just say, hey, tell me, like if a patient sat down in your clinic and said to me, oh, I've got this, what is the problem? I've got pain, I've got problem X. And what is it? And you would go, you wouldn't go and get a script and start reading it. You would just tell them what it is. So you put the camera in front of you, you pretend that somebody has asked you a question, and you get in there and you just answer that question. I'm going to see if I can find my old website. Because what I did is I went somewhere. I was over in the States, and there were a group of guys over there who were doing all this videoing. And they had a video camera set up, and I just stood there in front of the video camera, and the guy randomly just kept asking me all these questions. I said, oh, Tyson, so what do you do with it? And I go, well, if you come, and all I had to do was just repeat the question. Well, if you have heel pain, when you get out of bed first thing in the morning, I go, blah, 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 blah. And I talk for like 45 seconds. And we shot about 13 of these videos, and we just used them all over our website. It was, the videos just came across so natural. They weren't staged. You could tell I wasn't reading a script because I didn't have one. Because he said, if you don't have this, if this information is not in your head, what the hell are you doing treating patients? You shouldn't be allowed to. And I went, good point. It's funny. I've got Facebook over here on my phone and I'm watching it. And it must be, I don't know what the delay is between Facebook and us, but I keep looking over. Next thing I see, my hands waving around all over the place. I'm like, holy crap, what was I talking about?
About a minute delay. There's about a minute delay between this and the Facebook. This is the thing. I mean, well, I do like a little bit of scripting. There's something we talked about in our group this week is scripting, especially if you have a multi-practitioner practice.
Yeah.
Because everybody needs to be singing off the same sheet. You know, when you get the patient ask you the question, you need a standard question to reply to that, because they'll ask Tommy next week, and if they don't get the same answer, it'll start to confuse them a bit. So certainly a slightly structured conversation is quite good. And again, working with one person, how the hell do I do that? It's just like, just record yourself doing one or a couple of your new patient consultations or your follow-up. And, you know, if you're long enough in clinical practice, you will have your own internal dialogue script that you will use and the points you want to cover. Just record it, write it down, and then share it with the other people in the practice, so that for certain key points, you always use it the same. And again, pretty essential for front desk and things as well. And follow-up calls after the night or two after the treatment or the foot surgery, or how you're going with your orthotic and things like that. All those little things that you need to do. But again, it all comes back to that money and buffer in the practice, to have the admin staff who have the time then to do all those things for you. So you certainly do need some type of scripting or sort of manual or process. And then when you're training somebody up to come and work for you, it's you just give them all that, and they learn that, and then they're better able. You sort of fast track them as well. That was one of the things we learned to do. Put it down.
Yeah, we used to have a 20-day training plan.
The perfect patient consult.
Yeah, we used to have a 20-day training plan that I could take a new graduate, they could come and work in my clinic, and within 4 weeks, I would probably have them up to about 90% of the standard of someone who had been with me for 5 years, just because I made them go through I made them jump through all these hoops and made sure the skills were right in certain areas.
Not like my first day when I worked in the health service, which was like the person who was inducting me was late for another meeting. And there was a waiting room full of patients. So it was just like, here's your list. Here's the cupboard with the dressings in it. All right, see you later. That was it. So similar to you, we would take new graduates or podiatrists that came and worked for us, and they had a 4-week or more training program into how we worked. Because we want them to walk like you and talk like you and say like you, talk like you do to patients. So
well, there's got to be an induction. You can't just dump people there.
But if you have all these, we used to have recorded. No, because they'll come and they'll use how they, But also we had video calls, videoed of the perfect new patient consultation and the perfect sort of review appointment, and had that in video archive for them to look at and to learn. Because, there would be nothing worse than then seeing a patient a month or 6 weeks later, and if there was an issue, and as long as when you knew that the message that they had been given had been consistent with all the therapists, it was a lot easier to deal with an issue or a problem then, because you knew 99 times out of 100 what they would have been, how it would have been explained, and how they would have, gone through the process with you.
Yeah, it is. I'm here. But it's nothing like
you've just frozen.
No, it's nothing like. I think whenever a new person comes in your business, whether it's a receptionist, whether it's a podiatrist, you've got to start documenting how you do things in your practice. And like you said before, you can record just a couple of consultations, and you can say to the patient, hey, do you mind if I just record this consultation, because I'm just putting together a training program for a new person that's starting with me, and I just want to make sure that I'm consistent in the information I'm giving. Now, a patient is not, unless they're under... Yeah, but they're not going to turn around unless they're in protective custody or something like that and say, oh, no, please don't record this. It's the more stuff you can record yourself doing things, and the more you can document, the easier it gets to train people, and less headaches.
Yeah. And it also makes it, for your front desk, and people again are like, how the hell do I do this? It's just, you just start from opening up the office in the morning. We open the door, we turn on the lights, the computer goes on, the coffee machine, the such and such, the computer thing, the chat bot goes on. That's just listed out. It's very difficult to run a front desk. I have done it bloody hard. Last time, a bit of flu or colds with the reception over between Christmas. Throw it into the deep. Jesus, it's hard work. Bloody hell. Thankfully, there was the list that was there. There was a couple of key things that I didn't know that I was supposed to be doing. But the list was there, and I was able to do that. And when you have a new member of staff coming in, you just give them the protocol to use, and they learn that, and they just get up to speed an awful lot quicker. It's a no-brainer. Even I could read the list and figure out what I needed to do.
Well, but that's why some people, when they're talking about, I need to have more systems in my business, and you go, yes, you do need to have more systems, but it all starts with documenting. And systems don't. Years ago, systems were all written. You'd have a book, and you had this big systems manual, and everything was written. But now a system can be an audio file, it can be a video file, it can be photographs, or it can be written, or a combination of all of them. So if there's a system you're trying to explain, you go, I don't know how to write it down, grab your iPhone, get somebody else to record it and say, this is how we do this.
We had a video of our sterilization procedure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can video anything.
In our clinic. Here's this. This is the ultrasonic cleaner. This is where you think we decontaminate. This is how much stuff you put in. Just video it. Bingo. Want to know how to learn how to sterilize in my clinic? Here you go. Here's the video.
We've got here, Anne Stewart has actually said, I did that for my husband when he joined my business. And I bet he was happy that you did it too. Mm-hmm. Because you don't realize that when you put systems in place, how much better it makes it for the person who's joining your business. So it's almost like they are nervous when they're coming in. They're not sure what's going to happen. And all of a sudden you go, and here's the game plan on how we do everything. And they're like, okay. It is such a no-brainer. And it's something, and people go, when should I start writing systems? You start writing your systems the first day you open your business, you start writing them.
Yeah. How I did it one time was we got one of Emer, who's now 19. I mean, she came in, she was looking for a work experience from the school. So we just got her in and got her to sit in the corner and write down everything they did, document it, or time, what they did, and that was an easy way to get a lot of information and then fine tune it. I just wondered, did Anne Stewart get a hold of the website? Anne, if you want to give us some feedback on it.
I'm not sure.
Of course, you can talk to us if you want to have a website like that built for you that works. So we can talk to you all about that if you want to. As I say, main job of your website, get patients into your practice. That's all its job is. If it doesn't convert you, get you new patients in through the door, it's a waste.
It's a waste of space.
That's where people live. Yeah. And also there's some really, really colleague in Australia of yours I've never seen as stunning a website. The images used in it and the graphics and all about the practice and stuff. It was like one of those like peak websites. All fur coat, no knickers. Looked absolutely stunning. Didn't bring any new patients into the practice. Like, I think they paid about 10 grand. I was like, Jesus.
Oh, that's funny.
Didn't get any new patients in. Look nice. Nice photographs. But
I know. See, because what happens sometimes too when people
fur coat, no knickers. Never heard that.
No, I haven't. But when people write for the websites, they've got to realize you're not writing your website, you're not designing your website for other podiatrists. You're writing the website for patients. So if you're writing a blog article and you get to something that's a little bit complicated and you need to dumb it right down and use words or terminology that's not exactly right, but you know a 12-year-old could read it and understand it, then that's what you need to do. There's no point talking about...
Explain it to a 6-year-old.
Yes, just write. I always say, just write it for. I usually go 12-year-old. I like to put a bit of intelligence on there.
Okay. I don't scream for that. What's it? It doesn't scream for that. Lots of books, more than what you did. Just my opinion. Okay. Thanks for the feedback, Anne. I absolutely killed it. Killed it, mate. It was, I have 5 different, well, that is an evolution of websites that I've had in the past. But that's, and we'll just talk specifically about that type of website that we have. That's what's called a lead generation website. Okay. And that's just the first stage. There's a whole back office that looks after all that ebooks and follow-ups and all that sort of thing. So patient takes the ebook, they get a call the next day, they're into an email list that goes on for a year with regular emails about information all about their heel pain and people just like them. This is a long game. And as one of my mentors told me before, the fortune is in the follow-up. Yeah, because if somebody comes to your website today and phones your clinic and goes, how much is it? Okay, and I'll just have it. She's just having a think about it. Did you get her phone number? Did you get her email? Did you ask her permission to phone her back in a week or two to say, hi, with that heel pain you talked to us about? Do you want any more help? No, that's okay. Not a problem. Do you mind if I send you our free ebook? Yeah, that's okay. I start to build that relationship with them. That's so it doesn't scream podiatry. That's because of all we've talked about the last hour. It doesn't need to scream podiatry. People don't know what podiatry is. They want the outcome that you can give them. Yeah. It's a long game, and that's called a lead generation trusting website. Lots of free information. Everybody's a new patient today. We're not prepared to put in the long, hard work to build that up. And it's, as I say, the fortune in the follow. No point having the nice, fancy website if your admin team aren't, you don't have structures in place then for that person to be nurtured on that journey before they decide they want to come to see you. That's what that type of website is designed for.
So the thing though is most podiatrists, like a lot of podiatrists will, they're struggling with just marketing in general. They don't quite understand it, and it's like they're podiatrists. They're not business owners, so they've got to understand the business. They're not marketers, so they've got to understand the marketing side of things. But even with what you're talking about with lead generation and having all these follow-up processes, most people don't understand that. And it's something that needs to be shown how it works. So even when I had my podiatry business and we had the free book, some people would order that free book and we could send it to them.
But they certainly...
What was that?
They may not understand it. But it's happening to them every day. Just open up your inbox and there's emails that have come in through from the fire pit company or the holiday company that you signed up for, or somewhere else where you bought something on Amazon that will send you a thing.
Yeah, they see it, but just because they see it doesn't mean
that's happening every day.
Yeah, but just because you see
it, relate it to their practice,
they may not understand how it works.
Yeah, it's okay. How it works is really simple. It's an email phone number gathering exercise on your website, and I mean, Anne says, and we're not going to have a go at Anne, but that's what I said before. Every other website, just put in heel pain in my area. After this call, and look at the 4 other competitors' website that look just exactly like yours. Probably don't talk anything about heel pain, give away nothing for free, and the patient just sees that website. It's just next. My website. Oh, he's got free stuff. I'll have the free stuff. That's how that worked. It absolutely killed it.
So Anne's got a question.
They used to use. But yeah, it does take.
Anne has a question here. She wants to know, what do you think about Facebook, Tyson? So I like Facebook. I really enjoy Facebook. And the thing that I feel a lot of podiatry clinics miss when it comes to Facebook, or podiatrists or podiatry businesses, is the aspect that it is what they call a social platform, which means you're supposed to be social. It's not a one-way traffic platform where you dump a boring article and you wonder why 4 people might like it if you're lucky. It's something where you've got to engage with the patients on there. But the other part, I think you've got to find your angle. Let people learn a little bit about you. Well, I call it micro storytelling, where you just divulge a little bit about yourself. So I'm a Roosters fan, a Roosters supporter in the rugby league. And all my patients knew that, because every now and then, 59-0. So, but my patients all knew that, because every now and then, if the Roosters had an awesome game, I would post it on Facebook on our podiatry page. People knew I liked hamburgers because I would post that in there. Yeah. And then you'd start getting suggestions from people. So to me, I think on your business page, it doesn't all have to be business. You can just start divulging a little bit. If you go on a holiday, I'm not saying that if you go and buy, if you're on a flash holiday, you keep telling your patients where you are, but you can let them know things you're into. If you like wine, let them know that you like wine. Do wine reviews. If you like scuba diving, let them know that you like scuba diving. If you play the guitar, like I used to have my guitar sitting in my consultation room, and if I had a kid that came in and said, "Oh, do you play the guitar?" I go, "Yeah." "Do you play?" I go, "Yeah." And I go, "Bring it in next time. We'll do a 5-minute jam at the end of the session." You go, "Okay," and we say, "Bam, start belting away on it." So, so to answer Anne's question, I really, really like Facebook, but you've got to be prepared to sort of just expose yourself just a little bit, not all the way, just enough, so that people can get interested.
And
to me, it reminds me of
or Achilles tendon or rehabilitation, because they don't care about that.
Yeah, and it reminds me of the old Benny Hill skit. So on an old Benny Hill skit, I remember Benny Hill's there, sitting there, and this girl comes, walking down to the beach. She's got the short skirt on and all that, and she's sitting on this thing, and she keeps crossing her legs. And Benny Hill and all the guys are going, "Whoa, whoa!" They're trying to get a bit of a perv. And all of a sudden, she sees him. She gets up, walks into this room, comes out just wearing a bikini, and they go, "Oh, okay," and they just walk out. They're bored. So to me, that's the part when you're using Facebook and you're just telling them a little bit about who you are, exposing yourself just a fraction, but not too much.
Yep.
Letting them into your life a little bit.
The curtain.
Yeah. Let them see behind the scenes, a little bit more behind the scenes of what actually happens. And that's how you'll get people engaging.
Everybody wanted to see behind the curtain to see who was pulling the levers.
Yeah. So I'm just reading what else is there. And we get most of our business this way.
Craig Payne not Craig Payne. Cameron Kippen has got a whole thing about shoes history in movies, and he's got a great blog about the whole the whole Wizard of Oz and the red shoes and things. I think they sold recently for, I can't remember how many thousands of dollars, the original pair that were used in the movie. So
Dorothy.
yeah, that would be, again, yeah, Dorothy. So Cameron Kippen has a whole website, blogs about the whole history of shoes and theatre and movies and shoes and rap and modern culture and the whole history of stuff. We'll be talking all this on Tuesday, I think it is. Can't wait.
No place like home.
So Facebook. It's Facebook is, as I said already. Don't make it a clinical. Don't make it a clinical place. Talk to them about people just like them. We're helping people get ready to do the park run or the local women's mini marathon or those sort of stories. Helping Doreen achieve her dream of finishing her first park run. When she first came to see us, she was so disillusioned, never thought she would be able to run, blah, 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 blah. But now Doreen is like killing it. Just tell them a story about like that, and how you help them. That's it. Storytelling.
I was just letting you go. I wasn't going to interrupt.
Got me? All right. That's it. Just a story about somebody just like them. That's what they want. That's the social part out of it. And then if you want to talk Facebook advertising, then that's even, that really, you can literally target an ad to a particular like postcode or area, or within 2 miles of the footy ground if you want to treat footy playing kids, or if you want to treat patients who run triathlons, you just run an ad where that triathlon is taking part that weekend. Run it for 4 hours within a mile of the start of the triathlon, so people who are running triathlon see. That's how specific Facebook can be with ads. It's unbelievable. So where's your ideal patient? Which coffee shop does the drink in? Where do the triathlon guys hang out to do their training? Are they down the local surf club doing their water sports stuff on a Saturday morning from like 7 to 10? Just run ads in that area for triathlon guys within a square mile of the surf club. It's like, yeah, that's how specific advertising can work on Facebook. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, do you use Instagram much?
I've started to. I was not for practice. More now. Again, that wasn't my patient demographic. She read newspapers, was on Facebook, and local events, and that was my perfect patient. And that's all. I didn't bother with waste of time. She's not on Instagram. Mary wasn't on Instagram. She was on Facebook. Yeah,
it's funny. I was watching a video this morning, and it was Gary V talking about TikTok, and he's saying that TikTok will become like the new Instagram.
I'm on TikTok. Because I've got 14,500 people watch me eat chicken wings.
You? I can picture you getting on there doing this.
Yeah, 14,500. I'm not dancing. Yeah, anybody who doesn't know what TikTok is, it's the new thing. It is a lot of 14-year-olds dancing, but I've got so much business advice and stuff off it.
Well, what's interesting?
We've got a lot of traction on the last. If anybody saw my Tom Novella dance medicine, ballet, sports medicine interview last week, it's getting a lot of traction on all platforms.
Yeah,
and it's just it's not just for kids. So what was Gary saying? Well, also it's free, so it's very underpriced. Really, really good value.
So what he was saying is Instagram, if you think back to when Instagram started, it was like Instagram was really for people, photographers and people who like taking photos, and that's all they would put there. But then it evolved and it adapted to something way beyond what it was originally invented for. And they said TikTok, yes, at the moment there's all these young kids doing dance moves and all that sort of stuff. But they said there's also a lot of business advice. And he said, if you can get in early now and start getting a following, it could be one of those things that it could become the new Instagram, and the people that get in early could actually do something. But like you said, it's got to be, where are your ideal patients? And if your ideal patients aren't there, then don't worry about it.
I'll show you my wings video. I've got 3 TikToks, one for podiatry, one for my garden, and one for eating chicken wings. Let me see.
I should do a hamburger one.
Okay, but no, I like chicken wings.
I'm going to do a hamburger one. That's not a bad idea.
Doing the Wi-Fi again.
Yeah, stay off the Wi-Fi. Every time the Wi-Fi is evil enough at the moment.
I have to make that. No, the video that you make, the video you make for your Facebook, and you just put it on TikTok as well, or put it on Instagram, and you do it again. It's like the blog for the emails for the PDF. You only need to do it once, so you only need to record it. That 30-second hi, we're just helping the brain to get ready for the park run video. You put that on your Facebook, and you put that on your website, and you put it on Instagram, and now you put it on TikTok. You don't have to reinvent the wheel again. I do it from a phone. God, just do it from your phone. I mean, it's just, it doesn't. Anyway, so Tyson, we're going on a lot longer than we would normally do. We've probably broken your and I record for the when we spoke before.
I don't think I've ever been on. I've never been on anything with you.
Hour and a bit. We'll keep going another day.
Yeah, I haven't been on anything with you that has not run late.
A lot to talk about.
I know.
I got a lot to talk about. Long game. It's one of the guys I would look at TikTok now, and another guys come up with at the end of his videos, he's always said it's a marathon, not a sprint. Yeah, in terms of business wise. Yeah, so your website, that lead generation website, it's a long game. Those all the stuff you put out now, and you think, the phone didn't ring tomorrow, or I don't have a busy clinic on Monday. You're not thinking long term enough what the 6 week, the 6 month, the 6 year of your practice, how that affects that. Everybody wants to just do something today and get an instant patient in the clinic tomorrow. Doesn't happen. Long game. Fortune is in the follow up. And so, Tyson, tell us a bit more how about people can find out more about you in sunny Australia.
The best place to go, like my website, tysonfranklin.com. It's the easiest place to find me, nice and easy to remember. And if they haven't checked out the podiatry, move that out of the way, Podiatry Legends podcast. Mate, like
and
a lot of podiatrists.
Podcast as well. Dr.
Yeah, I don't do that anymore. I ended it. It's No Secret with Dr. T ended it. Episode 211. That. Yeah. Because I had to focus on...
That just run out of things to talk?
Oh, no, there's no shortage of people to talk to, but it's more along the lines of focusing on... It's like, where's your niche market? Because, like, even though I enjoyed doing It's No Secret with Dr. T, and it's the guests on there and the information is amazing, but for the amount of time and effort I put over there, it was detracting from other stuff that I was doing. So I may as well, I thought I'm going to end that. Doesn't mean I'll never bring it back, but if I do bring it back, it's going to be in a completely different sort of format. But everyone, so many people call me Dr. T anyway, so it just sticks.
Yeah, Anne again is asking about, did we use Facebook? Yes, we used Facebook. Of course we did. It was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. One of those mini marathon, the women's mini marathon, like a cancer thing, like a 10K. They have them in Dublin, Belfast. They have them all over. The title of the ad on Facebook was "How to Run the Mini Marathon Without Completely Dying." That was it. And when they responded to it, They got emails back that told them how to run the mini marathon without completely dying. Right, shoes, stretching, what to do with blisters, and blah, 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 blah. And they got 3 or 4 emails off the back of that. They also got a phone call after the first email. What's that? To ask them how their training was going and could we help them. Those sort of things worked really, really well.
The last thing, last tip that I want to give people listening is, well, I always felt one of the best things, always just doing something a little bit different to what other people are doing that makes you stand out. I was at a podcasting conference, and people, all the younger people, they don't have business cards. They just want to tap your phone and stuff. And I went, well, I'm not going to remember who you are. So the people that gave me the business cards, I remembered, I stayed in touch with. But there's one lady, I brought it here. She gave me this. And I was in America, so it was pretty cool. Anyway, this is what she gave me. It was $1 million note, which I thought was pretty cool. But then on the back,
you've got a few
had a name
and
a website. And I thought, well, how cool would that be that you go to a networking event and you get some British pound printed with your details on the back, and while you're talking, people go, oh, what do you go? Oh, yeah, my name's Tyson. Here you go. And they go, what the hell's this? And it's $1 million British pound, and they're going to remember it. And the thing is, when they gave that to me, I didn't fold it up. I put it nicely in a book, and I hung on to it because I thought that is a good idea. And to me, what you should be doing on a regular basis is have a scrapbook, have a box, have something that whenever you come across something that makes you go, wow, is make a copy of it, take a photograph of it, get an example of it, and put it in a box. And then every now and then go through the box and just look for wow ideas and see. Don't say, oh, that won't work for me. Ask yourself, how can I make this work for me? And that's the big thing. So that's why I still actually have this. It's a pretty cool note. That's my final tip.
You do, because you remember that. You remember that lady, and if you may not be doing something with her now, but you may do something with her in 5 or 10 years' time. My final tip is, again, back to the message you've been on for the last 2-3 weeks. Ethically, you need to charge higher prices to give you better value in your clinic so that you can better serve yourself, your family, which means you can better look after your patients. We talked about this at the start. You need the buffer in the practice, the slightly more money at the end of the week to invest in yourself and your practice, because you can't do that if you don't. You can't look after your patients as well if you don't do that. The business has to work for you, not you working for the business. That's my take on. Put your prices up.
I agree.
Tyson, as always, it's been a pleasure.
That's fun.
An absolute pleasure, and we'll talk again soon. And we'll everybody. So again, that's it. Nothing over the weekend. Having time off, more gardening.
Oh, that's a good idea.
A bit more fishing. There's a bit more rain. Although Charlie's still on it, probably tell you I never catch this good fish. And so Cameron Kippen, I think it's Tuesday afternoon, but we're going to be talking all things more foot fetish, the sexual history of footwear. Footwear in mainstream culture, film. It'll be fascinating. Tyson, thanks very much.
Sounds good. Okay, thank you. No, thank you.
And I think we're off.
We're off Facebook?
Let me just check. I don't want to. Yeah, it says we're not on there now, but it says we're still live on there. On thing. Let me just, because I don't want to say anything. I tell you I got in trouble for
I know. You
tell you I got in trouble for cursing.
Well, it's still recording. You're still actually recording the
numbers here.
You're still recording
30 on. No, that's okay recording, but that's it.